doing like state competitions and stuff. We both practiced in pantyhose to create drag, and then the night before the meet, we shaved all of our body hair. Well, not all of our body hair, but legs and chest and all that. Right.
This is a train wreck.
Is that the basketball equivalent of like wearing ankle weights?
Yeah, I mean, it is because you wear the pantyhose, just incredibly drag creating, makes you work super hard. It sucks.
Okay, we can go live now.
I mean,
we have already.
Live.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
You could clip that, and there's like 5 different ways you could interpret it.
Well, and everybody take note that it is the most wonderful time of the year. The Criterion 50% off sale is on through Barnes & Noble. So through
Hashtag not
for
sponsored.
Someone just clipped the second it took for Kovic to say I wore pantyhose and that's it.
Yeah, in the clip of Frolic saying we should ban drag.
Yeah.
There we go.
So yes, but we would accept sponsorship from the Criterion Collection or Barnes & Noble,
God.
either one.
Yes, please.
I wish.
Yeah, sure.
Don't I wish.
I'll be a corporate sellout.
Okay. Before any more tangents, let's start before the train explodes.
Good thinking.
It's already off the tracks.
So this episode brought to you by... No, I'm just kidding. Yes, this is the Electric Metropolis video game tour. I'm AD Springer, also known as Corbinian, and this is another episode in the first episode of the second season of Halanak Station, a Star Trek Adventures story tale played in the Metropolis system of same name. Star Trek Adventures, not Halanak Station. We are not official in that regard yet.
We could be.
We could be.
Barnes & Noble, hit us up.
The Great Metropolis, Barnes & Noble, 10th Fleet.
Criterion Channel, whatever.
Criterion.
Yeah, just one conglomerate with us as your sponsors.
But yes, 2 game coming up here on Stardate 60536 as we look to Halanak Station operating not under fire, not under siege, not under any imminent danger. However, there is the mystery of a strange freelancer who has taken asylum with the Free Information Sphere, care of the Lieutenant Captain of Stars, Serana. But also, we see the return of our harmonizer from his short apology tour, quote unquote. But I think it was more of a lecture tour. And to Opentar. Go up into its stars and pull. So, at present, I presume, and correct me if I'm wrong, but do you guys have the Da Vinci A out in orbiting Opentar? Do you have it docked with station? Do you have it somewhere else in system? What would you intend for the Da Vinci to be?
I think we're probably just in orbit at the station.
I mean, is there no reason to have it docked? We don't have a mission.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't want any mission right now, then yeah, we're definitely docked.
That does say
Transporter Chief thanks you not having to beam people back and
Yeah.
forth all day.
Exactly.
Train the
Yeah,
transporter
but
chief.
also, how many large docks do we have? Are you guys like occupying a space if you're sitting there?
This station, no, it has a lot of space.
Yeah, I think it has
Okay,
a silly
okay.
amount of docking capacity.
Okay, there's no like parking meter you're occupying.
To make us pay for fucking parking.
I think we are, but it's our parking space to use.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
that's true. You probably do have one dedicated parking spot, but I'll give you that.
So what's up with this freelancer?
Well, you have a file labeled from the office of the Lieutenant Captain of Stars, indicating that the Free Information Sphere has taken a person known as Sapintia into protective custody. Serena, you feel free to fill in what you may or may not have put in there. That you would, because you would have put paperwork for Kovic to find when he gets back, because he's the local harmonizer. Well, there's harmonizer up on station and there's a harmonizer on Opentar, but you'd want the station harmonizer to know what you did.
The long and short of it is, immediately the captain, the now Rear Admiral Penn's promotion ceremony was rudely interrupted by some hyperspace traveling beings in a shootout. We fled. The attackers were incapacitated and sent to the hospital. The seeming victim of it all was this aforementioned hyperspace traveler known as Sapentia. She asked for asylum, claiming that she was being attacked by Starfleet officers. We later determined that the officers who attacked her were wearing like fake uniforms. So it was someone trying to implicate or frame Starfleet. After all that, I gave her asylum because it seemed like that's what she needed. And she went down to the planet, and I leave the investigation of the matter into your trustworthy hands.
You also would have a file from Haifa who arrested an individual in said uniform and had arrest is a strong word. I had them sent to medical with told medical to arrest them because they're suspected of committing a crime and to coordinate with your office. So I imagine someone in your office has already seen them.
So, did we take Sapentia into protective custody or just grant her asylum?
I didn't know what to do, so I just granted her asylum and sent her on her merry way.
I think on the understanding that she couldn't leave Ubintar, right? Because she would need to be seen.
I told her that she should expect a call. I have her phone number, her transmission number, and I said, expect a call from the Harmonizers because they're investigating this. It was very preliminary on the basis of there would be a further asylum hearing and they would judge her character and whatever, but in immediate terms she needed this because she was seemingly being targeted.
Yeah, so Sapentia is currently on a provisional asylum under the authority of Lieutenant Captain. Parliament has to ratify it, so they'll certainly be taking the Harmonizers' investigation into account because if someone's committing acts that would be criminal in the free information sphere to begin with, well, we don't feel particularly inclined to help you.
Oh, she's also been entirely disarmed. Well, I mean, as far as we believe, or Serena believes. I say we does not mean we. None of us really know what's happened aside from Serena, and to a limited extent, Haifa.
Okay, so have any of these fake Starfleet officers who were in medical wound up in my cells yet?
Let's roll for the station. Structure plus security, it rolls 2 dice, and it needs to get at least 1 hit. This reflects the staff on station taking care of it in a timely and effective manner.
You got that pinned?
What, the station?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, was that a computer's
Structure security.
Okay.
And it actually rolls 2 dice this time. You generate 2 momentum as Kovic. You get a rapid response when you query of it that the suspect was treated and then escorted back into the Harmonizer's office for holding.
So just one person in holding. How many people were involved in the attack beyond Sapentia and this one dude or person?
There were at least 2 others. I don't think I got an exact number because we didn't really get into that. But there were at least 3, I think, people there, and 2 were dead.
Yep.
The 2 died, and then we've got this one in custody.
There are civilian witnesses, apparently.
There are what?
Witnesses, right? There were people involved that were not the Starfleet
okay.
impersonators.
There were wounded people that were not in Starfleet uniforms. Whether or not they are witnesses or accomplices is
Where
to you to
was all
decide.
this?
Pensbar.
In Pinsbar.
Of course.
Because she was seeking refuge from Penn specifically, I think. Because she contacted Penn, didn't she?
No.
Yeah, because I remember Penn having a conversation with her in a previous episode.
She was on a job hunting someone down for a debt that they owed, and she heard that they had gone to the bar, and that's when she was attacked. She got into the bar.
Okay.
That's on the report. That's on her testimony she gave to Serena.
Okay. We got IDs on either the prisoner or any of the wounded, whatever their status.
Let's attempt a first station. See if your staff caught this before you got here. Computers, medicine, difficulty of 1.
Rolling 2 dice.
Yep. Generate another momentum. The various wounded people are roller here. Any challenge die roller will do. What? No. There we go. There were 2 people who were travelers from the Alpha and Beta quadrant, so one from the Federation and one from Klingon space. 2 others were Free Information Sphere people. One was a Upantari, and another was a in theory.
Okay. Any of these people have records, as far as we know?
For momentum, that can be found out.
Sure. All of them.
The Federation citizen does have a record, as well as the Upantari. The Federation record seems to be sealed to you. As for the Upantari, they are guilty of environmental crimes. They basically had worked on one of the moons over Upantari, and they had tried to do something that basically did a significant amount of damage to the moon, and that got them charged under the Environmental Protection Acts for the Free Information Sphere. So they're basically not a lot. That effectively limits them to when they build things. They have to. Normally, there's like a process of just go ahead, you can build it, we trust you. This is a no. If you're building anything, you have to ask somebody first. If we catch you again, we're gonna punish you further. So they're kind of on probation. But the Federation person's file is sealed to you. You're just informed that they popped up on the Federation database.
Okay, I'll send a request up through Starfleet Security, CCing Pinned, requesting access to that file. These were all the wounded people?
Yep.
Are they still in the medical facility of the station?
They are, yeah.
Okay.
And this is the day after. So all the stuff that happened yesterday. Just to give you an idea of timestamps.
Okay.
The funny thing is the person who was wearing the fake outfit actually was the least hurt.
Okay, so I'll stroll by the cells first on my way out and see who I've got in custody. Do I have a name for this prisoner?
Oh, yeah, you still have the Talshir Ulan in custody. And no one's really called for him yet, so he's kind of stuck there.
Wait, I assume we can't keep people in trial indefinitely. I know it's only been a couple weeks, but like
It hasn't even been a couple weeks.
Okay, okay.
We don't have any kind of agreement with the Romulans. Yeah.
No, but there's a representative of his government on this station. They're the one who should take care of it.
Which
Yeah,
government?
Okay, either
Oh,
he is
both.
charged with a crime and sent to trial, or he is deported, or something. We can't
In
keep
fact,
him
he
in
did
detention
actually-
without a trial indefinitely. That's a crime against humanity.
So
He
okay,
definitely
which
could be charged
Well,
with
they're not a
something.
human, so
okay, where did this Ulan come from?
He was on the moon that exploded. So basically, what happened is I beamed down. I needed an identity to steal. So him and his basically corporal were taking fire and hiding behind some like sandbags or something. I told him to come with me and the corporal to hold the line, as I appeared as a random commander or whatever. Then walked with this guy into a room, and pointed the phaser at him and told him to give everything up or it would be bad for him. So he did, and I told him now that he's, basically betrayed the Empire, he can either come with me and ask for asylum, or he can figure it out himself, and he decided to come with me.
Which
Did
we're
he-
going to get around
So-
to. We just haven't.
So
had the
he was
episode time
part of an illegal Romulan thing on one of the FIS's planets, right?
Okay,
But-
then he should have been charged with a crime, and as such, is waiting a trial. That will
So
likely
is he
at some point.
Tal Shiar or State?
Tal
Shiar.
Shiar.
Okay.
We also
Uh,
have the Orion that we just apprehended on the Da Vinci. I don't know if he would have been put into a station cell, given he was escaping from the station at the time. Probably would have been. Right?
Yeah.
Question mark? Yeah.
Also, there's like all of those dudes from the ships we captured, right?
Those people have been processed.
Oh, okay.
So what's up with the Orion?
There was the ambush on, or the whatever fight happened, and then we're looking for suspicious activity afterwards. Some small vessels were detected acting in an erratic manner by the Da Vinci. One of the other captains that was present, Thatton, noted that this is a common smuggler strategy or pirate strategy for evasion. Only one of them would have people on it. We located the one that had a person on it. He was the good guy. So he has something to do with the attack, presumably.
Right. Okay. So why is he in my brig and not yours?
Because the attack happened on the station.
Oh, okay. Not on the ship. Okay.
No, the ship apprehended him, but the attack happened on the station.
Okay. Okay. Well, I just missed one game that's supposed to be like a one-threat game, and you see. Dale just.
Well, it's actually a
It all
100 threat
happened in,
game,
like,
but
last out. It all happened in like the last 30-40 minutes.
Well, that's just it. It's a one-threat game because all of the people who would raise the threat are safely behind bars.
Okay.
They weren't, but
Oh boy.
Okay. So I need to stick a bunch of charges on the Tal Shiar, stick a charge on the Orion, and find out what's going on with the faux fleet guy, whose name is La.
and the Orion. His name, because I don't think I gave you a name for that Orion. I just realized.
no.
I was like, I'm not hearing it being said, and I'm looking at my notes, going, I don't have it written down. Oh, that's because I never named it. Oh yeah, because you guys Oh, that's right. You guys had to uninstall him from inside his shuttle.
Yes.
I remember now.
And then that was more or less where we ended, was removing him from the wall of the shuttle.
Uninstalling a man sounds like it's code for something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real. Like something that
Yes.
happens in an emergency room, you know.
Either that or something that happens in like the mafia.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or it's like
The
someone
holographic mafia, that's what they do.
Yeah.
He's uninstalled.
Yeah. Yeah, don't worry, boss. We're gonna uninstall him.
Gonna
Sleeping with
uninstall.
the bugs now.
We're gonna
Myth
do
is
some
running some kind of
troubleshooting.
weird ring back in.
It's like the
Federation supplies.
Futurama robot
Yeah.
mafia. That's something they would say.
Oh my god, yes.
This is mirror myth.
It is.
Oh, what? No.
So the prisoner's name really is just Law.
Just Law.
Yeah.
That's all they gave.
La
And it's
di
like,
da.
well, that's what we're going to write on the file.
And then Zalok's grinder.
Yep, that's the Orion. Grintar.
And I know. What species is Law, or do we know?
Law is a humanoid, I remember.
I believe he was some description of Federation species.
Yep.
I mean, his token has a P, so does it start with a P?
P for perpetrator. That's all I was doing. Although the Orion's perpetrators.
That seems like profiling.
Yeah. You
So
say you
is
can
he-
look at a person and know that they committed a crime?
So Law is a known Federation species. It's not an unfamiliar species.
Yeah. I just have to get their name in front of me.
Pelvic will go and stand outside the cell and go with his little pad. Law?
You see the person look up at you, and they are in sort of generic FIS humanoid clothing. It's just like, well, they can't walk around in that fake Starfleet thing. That's in evidence, by the way, but we'll give him something so he's not
Prisoner's
wearing...
jumpsuit. So
would you have mandated prisoner jumpsuits? Because they just would give them generic, like, brownish, grayish clothing.
yeah, I wouldn't have mandated it, but they would have been handy. Don't suppose you want to tell me why you were impersonating a Federation officer and having a firefight with an interdimensional being? God,
Kovac, give me insight medicine difficulty of 2. As you look at this humanoid and you look at the file, they in the file as you're kind of talking to him, they give a description that he has a lot of markers. He's humanoid, otherwise not known, which is to say there's lots of humanoids and Vulcanoids and Klingonoids that aren't of a known species, but they have a similar enough genetic profile. It's like, well, that's a humanoid as opposed to a plantoid or something else.
Right.
But there's something about the file that you're like, and you're looking at the person in the face, and it's like something's off, and you get the feeling.
Okay, well, how about since it's the start of the scene, I can use a quick survey to ask a question as if I had spent one momentum. So, what's off about this guy?
This
person.
This person is this gentleman is in fact a Cardassian who seems to have had some surgery done to make themselves look more human. There's a little markers here or there. There's certain telltale signs around the brow and the forehead that it's like you know, but the FAS people wouldn't know that because they rarely encounter Cardassians. They maybe ran into at most 50 in the last year or so, and across a station that's heavily populated. Like they're very unfamiliar species to them. And this guy's making
how many species there are in the Alpha Quadrant? I don't think I could recognize a Cardassian if you showed me a picture of one.
I'm friends with Odo.
So you also get the feeling, I can tell you for free, that Law is very much like some sort of pseudonym. Like that's not actually his name.
Right. Well, yeah, I kind of assumed that. I don't suppose you want to tell me why you were impersonating a Starfleet officer and attacking an interdimensional being and generally raising a ruckus on my station.
They move up to the door. And Xylox kind of steps over to the door as well, watching this conversation. Law looks at you. No, I don't think I do, Harmonizer.
Well, I didn't figure, but it was worth a shot. So what's a nice Cardassian like you doing in a place like this?
Traveling.
All right. Well, are you, according to this, you've been medically cleared? Are you feeling all right? Any medical complaints to make?
I don't know. My stomach feels a little upset, but that is a recent phenomena.
Ah, well. Let's see if we can't get you some Canar and Vole steaks or something. All right. Well, welcome to Hotel Kovic. Please enjoy your stay. I'll turn around, look at the pad again. Zalox Grintar, huh?
Glares down at you, a full head taller than you are. Though not nearly as bulky as the stereotypical Orion male you might see. He's just tall.
So looks like pretty standard smuggler's gambit here. Looks like that's what did he do on the station?
We don't. Not known yet. He was escaping from the station.
He was looking suspicious.
So you arrested him for looking suspicious?
No, we arrested him for deploying multiple vessels filled with ordnance across FIS space without distributing a flight plan for any of them.
Yeah, the other vessels that were unmanned did have explosive devices on them.
It was about 8 or so unmanned ships, and he was also in an apparently unmanned ship that they were all kind of like slowly drifting away from station.
I believe we initially arrested him for breaking space environmental and navigational laws because when we tried to interrogate him, he ran from us, and then he caused like an explosion of some subspace particles that almost destroyed our ship or threatened our ship in an attempt to get away.
Plus, he was moving a ship while the station was under a red alert, and you're not. If you moved, you have to tell ops what you're doing for safety reasons. And he, it's a minor offense if you do it with one ship. You're stacking up multiple offenses if you launched a bunch of small vessels.
Let's see, multiple counts of disobeying station orders during an emergency situation, endangering personnel, creating navigation hazards. Environmental destruction. Okay. I think that's all pretty clear. We'll get you processed and moving through the court system. Unless you particularly want to tell me the reason behind all of these shenanigans.
Thrill seeking.
Thrill seeking.
He smirks at you.
Boys, it's too early in the morning for this. All right, both of you sit down. We'll make sure you get some bologna sandwiches. Ulan Bator. That is now his official name.
We'll get you some bologna sandwiches because that's what you've been serving me.
Because that's all we have in prison, with American cheese and white bread.
They get 3-course meals with all of their daily nutritional needs as per their species, with appropriate variation. Anything less, would be unbecoming of the FIS.
So we kept trying to give people slime nutrient supplements and light therapy. We found that most prisoners didn't respond well to that.
Yes, well, okay.
Okay.
You will eat the seaweed, and you will.
You find Bator in their. They're still in their uniform. They've been permitted to have that. They're disarmed, obviously, but you can see they're still in their naval uniform.
Says here, I should ask you if you wish to claim asylum with the free information sphere.
Can you... I'm not sure I want to have that conversation with an Orion in earshot. What am I going to do? Charge across the cell? Burrow through the wall? Vitor just kind of gestures his head and shakes it. Like, Vitor must have been listening to this guy yammer for a while.
Right. Well, we can always go down the hall to the interview room, and we can talk there in more privacy.
I would prefer that.
And I gesture to the control desk to open his door.
Tap, 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 and door. A force field fizzles away, and then the door slides open.
I'll gesture him towards the...
He has to wait for the door to open because he can't open it.
Yeah, but open it. And make sure the door's closed. Okie dokie. Nobody's listening to us now except for me and the recording devices here, which are FIS security.
You get a ping from the monitoring officer that they confirm it's just the appropriate person who's supposed to be in there.
Okay. So, I'm asking if you wish to formally request asylum with a free information sphere.
Can these slimes really protect me from the Tal Shiar?
Well, they can certainly do their best. I mean, can anybody... Theoretically, the Tal Shiar is pretty good. So, I mean, no matter where you get asylum, you're running a risk. But we can definitely do our best to protect you.
I've been told that you have a officer of the Tal Shiar here, an agent.
We do. We have an official liaison for the Tal Shiar. We also have an official liaison from the Romulan state. If you are choosing to ask for asylum, we will have to say to both of them that a Romulan citizen has asked for asylum, but we do not have to identify you or reveal your location.
Even though we already know.
But
what's my alternative?
Well, the alternative is you go back to your cell, which you'll probably have to do for a little bit no matter what. I complete charge sheets against you for various environmental crimes, for interfering in the free information sphere of influence, for aiding and abetting the creation of illegal colonies, and a variety of other charges once I finish reading all the reports. Then you will receive a trial and then rehabilitation as the judiciary sees fit.
And if I seek asylum, I'm free of those findings?
GM?
Give me reason security, difficulty of 1. Because you would have had time to look this stuff up.
Yeah.
Assisted by ship's computer security. Station,
okay.
Sorry.
Take a threat just for bold, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just learned Friday that you can drag and drop momentum instead of doing the deal thing.
Yeah, that's what I used to do.
Generate 3.
3?
Unless he has some sort of plea deal, then no. He can, if he seeks asylum with you, it's like, well, he gets arrested because he's committed these crimes. Like right now, he's on the hook for the crimes. If he wants asylum from the Tal Shiar, if he wants away from them, you'll currently you could try to waive off all the charges, but there's no benefit to the information sphere for you to do that yet.
Okay.
But the information sphere isn't particularly inclined to let people go to places that execute people because they don't believe they don't do capital punishment. So,
right.
And he's the only survivor of the moon, right? Only him and Haifa are and the people on the shuttle are the last people who've actually been there. So this guy's the only witness to everything before the crisis. So
he's the only Romulan. There was a handful of the Romulan survivors, but he's the only one who kind of got separated out and away from everyone else. So he's a person who hasn't really been officially processed back into the Tal Shiar or into the court system. He's kind of been in this floative protective custody bubble the last couple days.
But you have, I mean, there's a lot he could offer in exchange.
So if you are willing to tell us everything you know about the operation with which you were involved on this moon, and to go through rigorous debriefing, although not rigorous in the Romulan way, I assure you, but to be thoroughly honest and all of that, I can try to get you immunity. I certainly 100% can get you a reduced sentence, but it depends on what information you have as far as I can get you full immunity. If you decide not to seek asylum, we will notify your government that you have been taken prisoner and are working the way through the judicial system, at which point they may or may not request extradition. We don't currently have an agreement with either side in the current Romulan civil war, so that will be some negotiations. So it will probably take a while, during which time you would be here.
And we cut away from the interview room into the office of Sub-Commander Varen Rule, who touches at their computer. A Romulan emblem appears, and it seems that Varen Rule is attempting to call somebody on station. Weird. Did I do this? There we go. Centurion Roloff, Varen Rule's trying to call you.
Probably yes, an actual disgusted noise before he answers. This is Centurion Rylov. What can I do for you?
Centurion, hello. I've just gotten done with the processing of the various other members from the incident in the nebula. However, I have noticed something peculiar. I was hoping I could speak with you about the matter. I'm not sure I feel comfortable talking about Romulan matters over free information sphere communication systems. They don't monitor these, apparently, but no reason to be sloppy.
Where do you want to talk?
Board the Da Vinci may be a wise idea, I think.
I am not at liberty to invite you aboard the Da Vinci.
Tap at their screen as he looks something up. Meet me on level 9-1 in Desert Biome Alpha. Be a bit like home. As close as we can get on this place, anyway. Well, home for me. I don't know if you ever spent time in Romulus.
Very little.
I mean, you can go home.
Well, he can. Do you have a time?
The sooner the better. I believe that's the time for us to fix the problem is running out.
Oh, I'm presently unoccupied. I'll be there shortly. I am definitely armed.
And as the scene's about to close, Kovac, give me a presence security difficulty of 2 as you talk Bellator around to understanding what their rights are, what they can do, what can be expected. Just so that they understand that you're not trying to screw them. You're trying to make them understand how the free information sphere works. It's like, this isn't like the Romulan Empire. We do things differently here.
Said presence command.
Security.
Presence security difficulty 2. Okay. Make a threat for a 3rd die.
And you're welcome, Throlic.
Yeah.
Generate 2. And
Got
this
one
is-
full lot.
And,
And we'll use.
Go ahead.
Can I use the float as the scene ending momentum?
No, it would die with the roll.
That's a good thought, though.
Curse of the starving class.
You can ask a question.
Yeah, or
That's
make an advantage if you wanted.
Yeah. Then you'd be down to 4 in the next scene.
I mean, I'm fine with being down to 4.
Yeah, let's make an advantage that he is fully aware of and properly informed of the rights he has under the FIS and the situation as far as Kovac understands it with the larger, governments and what would happen if he, if the Romulans decided to get him back and went through that process legally, and that he's convinced and that Kovac has managed to assure him that yes, this is the real deal. I'm not putting you on. So he's very fully informed.
Definitely one of those moments where you don't have to go like, well, do you have to speak with the district attorney? Like, no, I'm the harmonizer. I am the person offering you the deal. That's my job. Right. I mean, if you really want, you can speak to one of the judiciary, but at that point, you're kind of beyond plea deals.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that'll be good.
This is not the correct biome anymore.
Wait, how did we end up in Gallia?
Fudging muffins. There we go. That's what I wanted.
Huzzah!
But yes, he might be a station liaison. That does not mean he gets to go on the ship. That is the thing I can reasonably stop him doing at the moment.
Very much so, yeah.
That was suspicious.
He's a liaison to the FIS.
He's the liaison to the station specifically.
Yeah. The station's an FIS station.
Under Rear Admiral Pand. It's weird. It's like different layers.
Yeah.
As the Saturnian executive officer of a Federation starship.
Yep.
Yes, except this is just the Federation rather than to Federation and FIS. So it's slightly less odd, if that makes sense.
I'll allow it.
Is anyone else happening to take a tour of one of the desert biomes on level 9 while Rylov is having his clandestine, well, not so clandestine meeting?
Oh, he's not being sneaky. He's just kind of like,
Desert biomes, they irritate, I have to maintain a very consistent skin slime texture. The sand, it gets everywhere. It's gross. I'm all set. I'm never coming here.
I don't like the sand.
All right,
of course.
Oh my god, I walked right into that. I swear that wasn't intentional.
Hey!
I could be on a walk with Jaishu.
Jaishu would like this kind of atmosphere, I think. Environment, I should say.
I can imagine that Throlic would hate it.
Very much so, yeah.
Trollocs a
Ted
wimp.
also grew up on Andoria, so yeah, it's like this isn't his favorite atmosphere either.
Penn just enjoys suffering, so really.
I mean, he's dealing with Romulans on both sides. Yes, he enjoys suffering.
One of them's here specifically because of you.
Masochism, classic.
It's becoming my problem exponentially.
State of masochism, also classic.
What sort of activity is Penn and Jaishu up to? Just going for a walk, enjoying the scenery?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've both got out from the desk and her from being tied to a chair. So,
Walking and catching up.
yeah, walking, catching up, talking things over. It doesn't have to be like a, let's go for a jog. It's, hey, let's just go for a nice walk.
Yeah, they're kind of exhausted now, right?
I will say that things that you would, all of you would recognize is that this place is not a. It is sort of holographic, but it's a lot more. They actually make these semi-permanent, so there actually is like. They're a version of a sort of high fidelity holographic, so it's a lot less light, and a lot less empty light, and a lot more actually replicated sand and rocks in a large space. There's like a little park ranger spot where there's like the people who manage the area to make sure it's authentic to whatever biome they're trying to replicate. The desert biome is actually replicating a spot on on the, in theory, homeworld. So it's a place that the light people like to go because it's a great place for them to get white light, as pure light as possible. Hence why the sky is exceptionally bright. Occasional rocks to find some shade in when people get sick of being blasted by the fake sun. And you will see that there are some, in theory, kind of floating around in the sky, some kind of hovering a little bit along the sand. They give like they make sure people, they don't really go to the shaded areas near the rocks, because why would they go to all the trouble to going to the desert biome, not enjoy the light? It's like going to a restaurant going, nah, I don't want any food, I just want to enjoy the atmosphere. It's like, what? That's weird. Whatever. In theory, try not to judge people for their non-photonic nature. But yes, Subcommander Varen Rule meets with you, Centurion Ryloff. A little away from the shade, like they kind of step away from the shade when you come out.
Yeah, any opportunity to step out of the shadow and, be creepy, I guess. He's so far shown himself to be a very cinematically minded guy.
The Third Man, starring Orson Welles.
Sub-Commander.
Centurion.
Available on Criterion Blu-ray.
I've been keeping a track, I imagine you're doing the same, of movements of our people here on station. Both those in uniform and those traveling under their own power, with their own secrets to keep.
To I imagine a lesser extent than you.
I did notice something peculiar. See, I remember that various people from the Da Vinci mission out at the research lab, that a fair amount of Romans came and went, and I processed quite a few, actually all of them. And I double-checked with my government to ensure they got where they were supposed to go, and that no one illegally interfered in their movement. And I imagine you were watching them as well, as you say, to a lesser extent. And I noticed there was one particular life sign that was on the Da Vinci. Well, sorry. It was on the Mona Lisa, according to the files. And then they got to here on Halanak. And for some strange reason, they're in the Harmonizer's office, in holding. Now, I don't recall being notified of any citizen being held for the true Romulan Empire. But I would imagine if they were of the rebel state, they wouldn't be in holding. You don't seem like the sort to let someone languish in imprisonment for days.
That would depend upon what they had done.
Is this one of your people? Am I worrying for nothing?
Or they're just an independent.
That's
I
quite
know
the
very little
coincidence
about
for an
this matter.
independent Romulan to be near one of the greatest scandals the Free Information Series had in the last few years.
I know surprisingly little about this matter for what I imagine would be quite obvious reasons.
The problem is, I suspect that our shared goal to protect the Empire is being compromised by a rather skilled harmonizer.
Well, he likes me.
Sorry, Kovic, that's funny. And you have some suggestions to make about that, I assume. And they're going to be very appropriate to your uniform.
I would normally reach out in my capacity to ask after my possible fellow citizen. But whereas you have learned a healthy respect for the protectors of the Empire, some have excessive paranoia to the uniform and to the work that we do.
If he wasn't hard to read, he would have a very disdained look on his face. But he's hard to read. And this rule has something to cancel that out. But
Now, you don't have to like me to recognize that we're both in a bit of trouble if this individual decides to free the information that belongs to the Empire. I have a way to solve the problem, but perhaps your more diplomatic methodologies, your new Romulan teachings may save the Empire from an embarrassment.
that, and I presume you're already thinking that an assassination would draw undue attention to it yourself. So you would like something else to happen. And if you're lucky, the blame will get put on me instead. And the Romulan state. Am I too far off the bat here?
Your sensors are on the correct area.
So why would I step out of line and into harm's way on your sake?
Because I'm sure that your Senate doesn't want him talking about our involvement. You see, people with my uniform aren't the only ones who act in the best interests of the Empire. Much as my superiors might disagree with that sentiment, but I recognize reality. And I hope that you do as well. Normally, someone in my position wouldn't deign to ask someone of your heritage. But I don't believe in being stubborn.
Not that you have the authority to ask at this present time anyway. That does seem to be the issue between our factions, as it were. Well, one of many.
Nods. Looks over at Pend in Jaishu's direction.
Penn pays them 0 mind.
Yeah.
So you want me to talk with either Starfleet or the FIS to get a better understanding of what is going on, and perhaps prevent some information from being shared from the Romulan in captivity.
If this person has nothing of worth, they simply just want to abandon their heritage, then that is the freedom the Empire allows them. But if they hold state secrets, then it is both our duties to ensure they return to the Empire.
That must be a remarkably new freedom.
It is afforded to those who have served their empire faithfully.
And it's up to the likes of you to pick and choose what faithfully is?
No, it is for the Imperial Senate to decide such things. I am merely an instrument of the Empire.
First, I've heard that first bit from a Tel Shiar agent before. The second bit you hear quite regularly. I'll take a look. I don't make any promises to you.
Then I say to you that I will let you handle it.
Is there anything else, Sub-Commander?
Is there anything you wish to ask of me, since I'm here and we have time away from prying ears, more or less?
I do not have terribly much to talk with you about.
I imagine
We
at
see
some
things
point.
in very different manners.
Hmm?
We see things in very different manners.
Perhaps you'll find what secrets you need to know. Or I will. Good day, Centurion.
Sub-Commander.
And they go to walk off to seemingly enjoy the actual biome.
Like where let them get a little bit of distance before walking away.
What do you do, Centurion?
I mean, yeah, we can put in some effort and see what happens, but he's not trying to change things for rules. We'll see if we can't get to the Harmonizer's office and talk to Kovic.
Okay.
Rylov's generally been staying out of it. He knows that someone's in custody. Does he? He probably knew it was a Tel Shiar agent because he's the ex of the ship.
Yeah, you would know because of your position on the Da Vinci. That's why you know. You know who Rule's talking about in general.
Yeah, he's just not sharing that with Rule, assuming Rule already knows, but he's not saying it himself to confirm it. But yeah, he'll go to the Harmonizer's office.
Very good. Pend, give me a fitness con difficulty of 1 as you and Jaishu are enjoying your walk. She'll assist. See how much you two are able to enjoy your walk and your chat.
Screw it. I'm not going to give you a focus.
Well, you don't have walks?
I have things I could make fit, but it's what's the fucking point?
Use a metal. Use a metal.
Use a metal.
Someone who's never left Earth has a focus in luxurious walks.
No, that's a Grennan focus.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I could see that being a Brennan Admiralty focus that he gives to his officers. And everyone's like, why?
You gain a momentum as you do enjoy the. It is a rather warm walk, because you are able to kind of manage to get from shade to shade, so that way because Giant Shoe knows that you've never lived on a desert planet, so she recognizes that you're doing something for her. But she's happy to bring you along. It's like, oh, of course. And she even sits in the shade with you and stuff. 'Cause that way she isn't just standing there while you're huddling near the rock to get some shade. That's no fun. But yeah, otherwise, overall, it's a rather pleasant experience.
Oof. Well, before all this happened, we were having a conversation, if you remember what it was.
So many things just come and gone. It's hard to keep it all track.
Over the last couple of days, just seem off. Essentially, not my Jaishu.
Insight. Medicine. Difficulty of. Five.
Doing this. Focus in mental prowess.
Yeah.
Value spend. When shit goes wrong, figure it out. Something feels wrong, I'm trying to figure it out.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'd like to spend 5 momentum.
Goodness. I'm coming.
Focus in mental prowess.
Yep.
So that's 2, 4, 6.
Damn it.
You spent determination, didn't you?
Yeah, 6 with the determination.
That last die would have been rolled.
Oh shit, then 5.
Yeah, something's off. It's a little subtle things, little mannerisms. Even the scent of her pheromones is just off enough that you know something's not quite right.
Well, we can discuss that later on. But I was thinking about getting a checkup, considering a lot of things have happened. We can schedule yours at the same time. Just get them over and done with.
Oh, certainly. That seems like a great idea. I mean, after everything, I only had that cursory checkup when I beamed up, but suppose I'm due for my next medical by now.
Yep. If you want, I can schedule them both this afternoon.
Oh, I'm your adjunct. I'll do that for you. Don't worry about it.
No, I don't mind. Like I said, trying to give you as much free time as possible.
No, really.
Work yourself in.
I have it. It's all right, Pen. Everything's fine. Back to the security offices. Actually, we will cut away to elsewhere on
So
station.
is this the part where I call you a cunt?
No. That'll happen several times later. Do. So we look to elsewhere on the station, and what, pray tell, is Captain Thralic up to?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'm good at those.
Oh, yeah, sorry, no, it's a bad question. I think that right now, Frog's actually probably gone to medical on board the station and is getting her arms looked at. Maybe discussing options with the doctors there. Because I still have these temporary ones at the moment.
Are you speaking with on the Free Information Sphere medical, or are you speaking with the Starfleet, the Starfleet medical team?
I think I'm speaking with the Starfleet medical team.
What, you don't want plant limbs?
They
Look,
regenerate.
if the Starfleet medical team wants to bring in an FIS doctor to also consult, they're free to. But
You're not plant, you're not slime, and you're not light, so I can't really help you.
yeah, exactly.
I believe that falls into the lap of Lieutenant Tamina. You're a doctor? Doctor of what? Oh, you're an emergency doctor. Okay, makes sense. And surgeon. So who wants to control...
It could be the surgeon, because, you know, they have to do the operation to put the arms on.
Yeah.
Who would like to grab control of Dr. Tamina?
I'll do it.
Okay. So this is, just to give you an idea where you are. You guys are actually on the... somewhere in level 6-2, which is the part of the Starfleet operations deck. So you share the medical office with various other... Imagine cramming a lot of Starfleet official buildings on a single, very wide pizza disc of a deck. Because all the housing is there's two levels of that, and 2 decks worth of that, and then there's 2 decks worth of like housing above that. So I imagine this is happening in the Starfleet specific medical facility. There is a larger hospital elsewhere on station. That's the primary medical center, but Starfleet has their own private one.
What's the name of the Vulcan stringed instrument that Spock plays?
Oh, I used to know that. I don't remember, honestly.
Vulcan lyre?
Yes. I'll say when you walk in, it's a very plain utilitarian office, no decorations, but there is Vulcan lyre playing in the background.
Doctor?
I see you are 7 minutes late, but that is of no issue. How can I help you today?
Right. Well, I wanted to discuss options for continued care and, well, what exactly my options are regarding these arms. Ship Medbay got these on me after they had to amputate the former ones.
I'm aware. Let me pull up your file. GM?
Yes.
I would like to pull up her file and investigate whether I think a prosthetic or a cybernetic arm or like some kind of like limb transplant would be best for her.
Give me reason medicine. Difficulty of 2, assisted by station's computers medicine.
Can I spin either advanced medical research or surgery?
Advanced medical research, definitely.
All right.
Oh, right.
Right.
GM, I also was supposed to remind you about the fact that I need to do a trauma roll for my arms.
Yes, give me fitness medicine, difficulty of 3.
Cool. don't have momentum.
Someone spent it all.
Yeah. I'll give you one threat for a third die. I kind of just want to see how they roll on this. So amazing! It turns out.
Gained a momentum. You didn't. You managed to weather the storm.
All
Yeah,
right.
well, that's good and all, but I failed my check, so.
Well, the station might help you.
Yeah.
What's the station? Computers medicine?
Yes,
The station might help you. There's a Romulan that might if you asked her nicely.
There's a Romulan.
2 hits.
You gain a momentum.
Okay, that's great.
So, looking over Throllic's file, you find that they're actually a Romulan spy. Ink bomb in their teeth.
Yep.
There we are.
If anyone's the Romulan spy here, it'd be the one who looks identical to a Romulan, but okay.
Yeah.
Do not look identical.
It's your lost twin brother. Woo.
I'll see your Romulan spy and raise you this Romulan spy over here.
It would seem that She Throllic has a biocapacity to withstand a variety of implants. And it seems that the wider history for the Throllic clan does show the various ways that it's helped other Throllics. What different things they've used, what doesn't work, what does work, and also Tamina's own knowledge of what the Federation's capable of and people they can reach out to if you wanted to do something odd. But largely you can stay within the realm of known science pretty well. So you can do obviously the obvious cybernetic prosthetic, which Throllic already has. Those are long known, well understood prostheses, but you know, aesthetically, some people don't like them. Some people prefer it. They'll get them in funny colors. You could go with a biosculpted one, basically just cloning Throllic's arm and then regrafting it back into place. There might be some minor microscopic scarring to show that, you know, new arm versus old arm, but that would fade with time. You could also get away with more enhanced prostheses that have that can be biosculpted or cybernetically enhanced as well, since it seems that Throllic's body can withstand quite a bit of strain. The first two options are the most medically necessary. Like, Throllic has the medical minimum currently, is something. You probably should get like a more customized one. If you were doing a basic cybernetic, you would just tune up the ones she already has. Like, well, you already have them. We don't need to install brand new ones. We can just fine tune it so it touches properly. But if you want a biosculpted one, then that takes time for it to be, well, printed, essentially. That takes a couple days, upwards of a week, plus installation time. If you want something more advanced, then there has to be a long-term process to ensure that Throllic doesn't lose any sort of as the Earthlings would say, they don't dehumanize, they don't derealize from themselves because of these odd appendages that aren't their normal bio strength or ability. Cough. Mechanically speaking, Throllic could get the augmented talent that would allow for that would be the cost it'd be to have that installed. Whereas until such time, you just wouldn't have that until you spent for it, and that would be when the process and counseling was done. Also, thankfully, Throllic made the roll that was needed. If Throllic had any existing trauma, Throllic would have to resolve that first before changing into biosculpted or enhanced, because no sense adding to the trauma by adding a new trauma. And that's the other thing too. If they do more advanced, then there's a possibility of some minor trauma of this of the transformation.
Yes. Throllic, I have consulted your charts, and, well, you, according to your last psychological eval, you do appear to be stable enough to undergo an operation, but I believe you have 3 options. You may attempt to receive a grafted, biologically cloned arm of your previous arm set. Such an option would leave minimal scarring that would fade with a decade or 2 of time. You could receive one of any number of cybernetic arms that would function almost identical, feel almost identical to your current arms, but well, you would know they would be of mechanical nature rather than biological nature. Or we could, if you so chose, although I believe it to be an illogical, reckless, and unnecessary pursuit, you could simply attempt to acquire some of the more exotic, enhanced cybernetics out there that have additional strengths and resiliences and other features to them. The choice is yours. I will be free to operate on you whenever you make said choice.
Well, it's something, I guess. I'm glad to know I have options. So, what's sensation like on custom cybernetic?
GM, oh, we don't have any momentum, do we?
You do, yep.
We have 1.
Can I spend that on said question?
Certainly. So the question was, do you mean like on the exotic ones or on the purely mechanical ones?
Well, because my understanding from last session right now is that, like, I have the, like, emergency systems, like, they just slap something on you so that you'd have arms type. But I'm talking about, like, a more, like, personalized cybernetic that, maybe has less of a, standard boxy appearance, is more, specific to Charlotte's form and everything. Like, what are my cybernetic options without going into the realms of the cutting or bleeding edge signs?
You can get things that have, Tamina knows that there's a variety of sensors that it can be, especially given the advancements of Sung-type androids and what's understood about that type of android. So there's a lot more sensitivity and range of sensations that you can install into even a cybernetic arm. Touch, heat, pain's kind of a necessary one to a degree because it's just survival. It lets you know you're injured, that sort of thing. You can dial it up to a fairly high amount. It's just a matter of acclimating to it. That's the main thing, because you have to retrain your brain into recognizing that, for your brain to recognize that the arm is in fact your arm and not this distant echo of a feeling. It can get pretty high. The lower end ones, the easiest to install ones, have very basic touch sensitivity, but you can get into like wetness, heat, the various range of sensations that you can get from an arm. It just depends how far you want, how much fidelity you want. And once you get beyond your baseline Andorian level, then that's when you have to go into exotic, because now they need to install special sensors and devices in the form factor to let you sense things you normally couldn't sense, or to a sensitivity without blowing out your existing senses, that sort of thing. But they could bring it up to Andorian level because Andorians are a species that's well known to the Federation. So it's one of those, they have plenty of data on the species. They know what the range, the uppest range and lowest range safely is.
Sorry, my mind's just going on a tangent now about wetness detection, because we as humans can't actually detect that. But now I'm thinking maybe Andorians can, and that's why the doctor brought it up. Anyway, all right. And as for a biografted one, you said? What are the risks of rejection on that?
Low. I am
That's
a
good.
skilled surgeon. I do not make mistakes. If you choose to option your arms, you will not notice a difference.
Well, that seems ideal. And I assume that you looked over the relevant aspects of my file. I don't get to do as much anymore, but grew up as an athlete. Do you know which one would be better? Not for performance enhancement, but for self-continuity, I guess?
Cybernetic arms typically weigh more than biological arms for, well, self-evident reasons, I hope.
Right.
There are ways to simulate muscle growth amongst cybernetic arms. However, if you choose to develop cybernetic arms, your strength is functionally capped at whatever the stressors of the muscle motors on the arms are.
Right. Well, I'll try and do some reading on my own on this too. I have a lot to consider, but thank you for the information so far, Doctor. I'll schedule a follow-up for when I've made a decision.
Yes, good day. And she just kind of just looks back at her computer.
Yep.
Getting on to your
Okay,
next.
Doctor.
We look next into a new scene with Lieutenant Commander Haifa.
Asking me, what are the chances of rejection? Like it's the 1800s.
Yeah.
I mean, none of the good options were discussed, like holographic arms.
Frolic has a medicine of 1?
I mean, yeah, that's just it. The Vulcan doctor, she's not going to be like, oh, hey, well, we can put like laser beams and spikes or whatever in your arm. She's just like, yeah, get a prosthetic or get a biological arm. I don't care. Just tell me what to do.
A monofilament thread
Yeah.
hidden in your thumb, you know.
And like
There's
Frolic's
something
biggest
suggested.
If you're gonna start dissociating, don't do it unless you get grenade launchers in your arms.
Meanwhile, Frolic's biggest concern is like, as someone who's like in touch with like herself on a athletic level, like, well, I don't want to just lose all the like improvements on myself I've made.
It's a good thing about cybernetics. You suddenly become not in tune with yourself anymore.
I don't think she considers that a good thing.
You haven't had enough grenade launchers.
Lieutenant Commander Haifa, what, pray tell, is the Chief of Engineering up to on
Something with
station?
grenade launchers.
No, that's after lunch. Before lunch,
You're working on the shuttle. I'm finally free to help you.
have to go meet with Lieutenant Captain of the Stars, Serana. One, to get a new memo put in that no banners in engineering, and two, to work on the shuttle. Although, if we make enough progress on the shuttle, I might be willing to back off on my banner request.
I mean, how was I supposed to know the crewman was going to walk into it and trip? Trying to find where are the rules for this kind of task.
You got it's pinned. It was pinned on the 5th of September.
Approval for FAS. Just below Trade Secrets Devastation.
Here we go. All right.
So this is a matter of you trying to find some way to persuade the various academic bodies to and government bodies to allow.
Are we like
this.
Outright giving like speeches in front of the transportation subcommittee? Like, are we like what do you call it? Are we like not on trial, but are we like on the stand, or are we just like like giving testimony, or are we just like meeting in back rooms, smoke-filled rooms, and asking them nicely?
The first 2 magnitude was a lot of write-ups and reports and essays on the topic to prove that the topic was at all feasible. These later stages are now you have to defend your theses before these committees and why this is a good idea, how is it safe, is it viable, to what benefit to the greater information sphere is there, so on and so on.
Okay. And we need 2 more successes.
At least 2 more magnitude, yes.
Yeah.
The
All right.
current difficulty is 1. I'm going to bring it up to 2, merely because there's always a general vibe that Serena is somewhat more familiar with than Haifa, but generally people aren't sure if Starfleet is proven to handle this stuff appropriately. So there's a little hesitation to let Starfleet lead this sort of research.
All right. Would you take? Can I argue for the role on this one to be presence engineering, since I'm justifying specific engineering decisions, and like, why does it have to be built this way? Why do you want access to this technology? Why can't this technology work instead? Those kinds of questions.
Certainly could, yeah.
And a focus in cultural studies, because I've been learning how to, speak in metaphors and cultural and in culturally relevant speech patterns.
You could do that, yeah.
And I'll say take a threat. Because
Yeah, I've been assisting you on what kinds of, gifts are most ideal. If I'm making an assist, can I spin for a presence command on the ground of I'm specifically trying to use my authority as the XO and as a prestigious officer in the fleet to like help putting my name on it to like boost its reputation and like, resting on my laurels a little bit.
You could certainly do that, yeah.
All right. And can I have a focus in politics?
You certainly could.
We'll use the 2 I generated to reduce the resistance to 0, and the ones generated to add to work. Well, I guess instead, before we spin that on work, let's spin it on a reroll, because didn't expect to roll so many zeros.
Five, 6, 7, 8, 9.
That should finish it.
9 on to 12 breaks the work track, and you did at least 5. So,
Does this mean Parliament has passed an approval for preliminary construction?
yep, they've the various bodies, the various subcommittees have given their go-ahead, and there is there's almost a moment where Serena would probably be starting to tell Haifa, okay, now sometimes it takes like X amount of time for Parliament to process things, and then before you can even get into explaining how that works, you get a approval back from Parliament, like, yeah, we signed up on it, go ahead. You may begin construction. Please report on your progress. It's like, oh.
And they're allocating like funds or resources or people or whatever to do this?
They leave it in the capable hands of Halanak Station and its procurement department.
Uh-huh. Yep. We're eating out of the same general budget, of course. Yeah.
What's a budget?
Well, maybe you don't have the resources or teams you would most prefer, but I consider this an unmitigated whim. Man, when the transportation minister made that glare during the speech, I was so worried. I'm very proud of us that we were able to make this happen.
I'll highlight to Haifa that the glare was like a shine of light from the in theory. It was like a purplish blue color. You think that was bad or good? You're
Well, I've been studying. I mean, I have cultural studies as a focus. I've been reading it.
Me and
But
Billy are like
he's
good
a
cousins.
yeah.
It's one of those that
But-
depends on context moments. It's like, that might have been good, but apparently it wasn't bad, or not bad enough for them to say no.
I don't think he'll win re-election though, so it didn't bother me. We could come back next year.
I'm already in conversation with opposition parties, so it'll be fine.
Is that legal?
Well, I would never do anything to break the law of the FIS.
That's not an answer, but I don't want to know the answer.
I'm very excited. I believe that this will change tourism and culture and commerce and strengthen ties between our people. Man, we should. You can work on the whole crafting of the ship now. I want to work on creating a wonderful entranceway for all of the Earthlings who arrive here so that they can see the true majesty of our people in one giant archway.
We're graduating from banners to arches.
Well, I know a marble sculptor on the planet. Maybe she can carve some very nice murals depicting our history and culture for them.
Has anyone ever shown you what a balloon is?
I was gonna say that.
God damn it.
Balloon Arch from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, go to a replicator and ask for a balloon, and see how you like that.
I have heard of these balloons before. I will have to investigate that further. They may assist in my decorative hobbying.
New experimental ship report file is filed under Halanak Station. I want to write. Oh wait, this I can make that as a character because again, I forgot what game I'm running. Ships have sheets. Oop.
Yeah, we're right now. This day of the week, we're playing a game that has enough people playing it to get sheets made that don't.
Hey, plenty of people play this other
Great.
game. What are you talking about? Oops.
Yeah, can I make sure that when we designate the dedicated entree port for any Federation citizens using this shuttle service, that it's like on the opposite side of the station to the docking bay of Perpetual Friendship with the Romulan people? I want to make sure those two interact as least as possible.
Actually, you know what? Give me Control Command, difficulty 2. This is by Communications Command.
Alright. Focus in etiquette. I'm going to persuade people this is the right thing to do on etiquette grounds. To avoid incidents and keep everything running smoothly and happily.
Certainly could.
Alright, take a threat.
This is by Communications Command. So far, so good. You're generating one at the table. Just one. Yeah, you're able to make the appropriate allocations without offending anyone, especially certain members of the Fleet Liaison Service who may see it as a snub, but you're able to kind of dress it a bit better than that. So it's like, no, we're not trying to snub you. We're just trying not to get,
Because, when the docking bay of Perpetual Friendship between the FIS and the Federation opens, I want, we are best friends with both of them equally all of the time.
Wow, that kitty's got claws.
So, the building of this shuttle will be done. Well, primarily it'd be on level 1 in the dry dock facilities because that's where you could actually launch it out and stuff like that. But some of the research would happen in level 4 in the laboratory spaces, so you'd be allocated some lab space there. But they're allowing one of the shuttle docking areas to kind of be this is a designated research area. Anyone who isn't supposed to be in here needs to go away. But if someone wants to see, hey, how's the thing going from a PR point of view, they'd go to level 4 to see what they're doing and stuff like that. On the allowance of the relevant staff and so on. They aren't going to allow it to be just in level 6. Just because the research, because of the QEC stuff you're going to see, FIS people have to kind of come along. They have certain things that they like it to be. They have certain ways that they do things that they want to still have around them, rather than just Starfleet standard. So you'll have to negotiate that sort of weird mix of the two systems.
All right. And mechanically?
Mechanically, you have free to build the shuttle as per the Utopia Panisha rules. And then once you figure out what kind of shuttle you want to build, I can start giving you what the various extended tasks are to actually build the shuttle you're looking for.
All right. And are we allowed to build it at runabout scale because it's supposed to operate independently, or does it need to?
It can be scale too. They're fine with that.
All
That way you can because the QEC is going to eat the experimental drive is going to eat one of the talent slots anyway, so it's better to give you some room to have something else in there as well.
I don't think it will. That is when you that's when you take an additional drive system, right? You have a Starfleet.
Oh,
ship
that's true.
aboard.
You're making
Yeah.
you're making the primary drive system as the QEC.
This won't have a warp core.
Right.
Yeah. Because it in the process, like I was just reading the process, and it notes to like name them. They all work the same, but just name what it is, and you can take an additional one if you take the talent.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then yeah, I'll do that.
Lieutenant Junior Grade Ven,
Yes.
what are you up to on Halanak Station?
So Ven is on Halanak Station right now.
Mm-hmm. He could be on Da Vinci as well. It's just that it's docked is all.
Yeah, then he'd probably be on Halanak. I'd say he's probably getting to know more of the station, because last time he was on the station, he was mainly on like the bridge, or in ops.
Yeah,
on the station. And the only other time he got to be here was when like when they first got here. So it's been a couple of weeks since he's really had a chance to just sort of hang around.
Mhm.
Was there the list of like all the different decks? Where was that again?
That's pinned. It's just beyond Trade Secrets, the Talshare connection.
I think it's also on the website.
Yep. Oh, it is. I forgot it was on the website as well.
I'm looking. Where is it? Where am I looking? It's not under special advisor. Is it on the Roll20 or in the Discord?
It's in the Discord pins, and it's also on the
okay.
in the World
Discord
Amble.
pins.
Yeah, I had it pulled up. Hold on.
Sorry, it's gonna take some getting used to all the.
Well, that's the fun of a brand new alien space station.
Right. No, it's cool. It's just, boy, I'm gonna have to get used to all of it.
Then it's just like walking around like a strange corridor, not recognizing where he is. Like, no, where did I leave that map on my pad? I can't find it.
Yeah, I'd almost want to say that's sort of what he's doing right now. Is he's sort of just aimlessly wandering about. He told himself he wouldn't get lost. Oh no, he's lost. That is entirely what Ven is doing right now. He's getting lost, but not getting lost. Oh, wait, I got it. Okay. To which I'd say is probably around the, probably on, like, level 8.
Somewhere on the Stellar Observatory level.
Yeah, he was probably going to try to find the recreational stellar observatory, but he got lost.
Oh, so he's on 8-1, not 8-2. It's like...
Yes, exactly.
Oh. So you actually come across...
Wait, these are all official labs. I have to have a key card to get into these.
You actually do find that there is a researcher who kind of comes... let's see. Who comes to me? Oh. You find yourself in the company of a human who is a civilian human. Kind of walks over and says, "Excuse me, you all right?"
Yeah, I'm trying to find the recreational observatories.
Really?
Yes.
Looks at your uniform. Are you actually in uniform currently?
Yeah, he'd be in uniform.
Looks at your uniform and then peers at you and raises an eyebrow. Your pad working all right?
Yeah, and he hands it to him, and he has it upside down.
So, you do know you can ask the... Like, they don't have L cards, but there is a self-help system in the computer. You can just ask it where it is, and it'll draw you a little line. Here. Recreational Stellar Observatory, and they let go of a button that's on the side of the pad, and then you see a little dotted line, like a little guideline showing you where you need to go.
Okay.
See, these are the Stellar Observatory labs, and you're just actually, don't feel too bad. You're only one deck off, so the next two decks below us are the recreational one.
Oh, okay. Great. Thank you.
Certainly. But if you don't mind me asking, you look like a science officer from your uniform. What's your major? I think is the word. I'm not sure what the word.
Well,
Specialization. I remember now.
Yeah. I mainly specialize in sensor operations, but I also have a lot of laboratory experience, namely in astrophysics and chemical analysis and chemical fabrication. I recently also have started doing some minor warp theory research.
I'm a little young to be doing all that.
Yeah. I just kind of throw myself headlong into whatever, and I don't know, it all kind of works out somehow.
It was a little reckless, if you forgive me saying so.
Yeah, well, that tends to be how we do science around here, I guess. We sort of throw things at the wall and see what sticks.
I thought science was a methodical way to examine reality and reprovable means. Slapping things against the wall somewhat willy-nilly seems unscientific.
I mean, there's definitely a method to the madness, but
The sound mad, I agree with you there. Tell you what. If you're not too busy, unless you're looking to stick something against the wall, would you mind helping me with a bit of science? Not Starfleet science, but like real science.
Uh-huh. Like?
Well, I'm observing one of the local nebulas in the sector, and since you seem to have some experience with astrophysics and sensor operations, perhaps you would like to come with me and help me analyze some data I'm looking into.
Oh, great. full-on nebula observations, and as he walks into the door with whoever this scientist is, he says, part of my paper that got me the Cochrane medal was for nebulas. Door closes.
Cochrane medal. What's your name again?
Then Lieutenant Junior Grade, Amos Ven.
One moment. Walk over to a computer. Computer, pull up academic profile Omnis Ven, Starfleet Lieutenant Junior Grade. And then pulls up your file, and they see your various commendations, both academic and professional, and they just kind of go. They make sort of like a look, like and nodding, and then give you some side eyes of whoops. So you seem rather accomplished. I feel like a right jerk, don't I? I think you may know more about this than I do. Ben?
No, don't worry. It's fine. If I were in your position, I would have thought I was a snot-nosed kid too.
Well, I said nothing about you being snot-nosed. So the sensor operations are over here.
Here's the question. Did I get that feeling from him?
Insight science, difficulty of 1.
To a slime person, being snot-nosed is a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also empathy.
Dripping with empathy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you're asking for the focus. Yes.
No, I don't have a focus in empath.
Oh.
I'm just noting.
You got talent.
Yep. I am
Dave,
spending a momentum for the reroll.
You could have the.
That momentum's gone. It should be gone by now.
Oh, it should be gone. Right. Forgot.
I've got the Admiral Focus.
All right, falling down the job.
Exchange.
Admiral Focus of what?
Cultural exchange.
Do you count that, GM, or no?
That's the one designated for this mission. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Because Penn, you choose one of those each adventure, and that's the one that's active. All three aren't active at the same time. Adjuncts can shift it around though. That's their superpower. Admiral superpower just being able to grant those.
Momentum generated.
Two momentum. 3 momentum. No, just kidding. It's just 2.
Unfortunately, my kitten is very interested in the momentum being dragged across the screen, spatting at it.
Aw.
That's great.
Yeah, you get the feeling that they were, and even your empathic senses give you the feeling that they were not so much snot-nosed kid, I guess, more of they thought they were guiding around a newly minted ensign or something, or someone fresh from the academy, not someone with a rich academic background. It's like, oh yes, you graduated from Starfleet Academy. Lots of people do that. Welcome to the real world. Like, no. I've done real world stuff. I actually done real science. Like, oh, never mind then.
It's definitely like, textbook definition of scientists having no idea how to talk about themselves with Ben there.
Yeah.
Where he's like, oh yeah, no, we just throw stuff against the wall and see what hits. Multiple acclaims.
Like that shouldn't work. Why does that work?
Things on the Achilles were weird. A lot of the time on the Achilles, throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what stuck was the only option.
So, what I have for you, if you'll pull this up with me, let's see. They pull up a large holographic display sector. This line's no longer relevant, so let's get rid of that. Da Vinci is back at Halanak Station. So, the focus of my investigations are in the Lambda subsector here.
Okay.
So far, I've been able to determine basic things. It being the major star system within the nebula being a Class M7 6 star. Class 1 nebula, fairly standard navigational hazard to note. Hence why it's so central to Lambda subsector. But what seems of interest to me, and this is where I'm trying to get a good read on, is that it occurs to me from the sensor readings that there is an almost a quantum variance, if you will, which shouldn't really be possible. It's either you're part of the quantum, everything's of the same wavelength, or it's not. Whereas this quantum variance seems to be, well, variant across the entire nebula. Not in large amounts, not enough to trigger the advisory. When he says the advisory, you know that he's referring to how Starfleet wants scientists to let them know if something very big changes on a quantum wavelength level, because that usually implies some sort of, if not a mirrorverse incursion, then an alternate verse incursion. The Achilles being one of the more recent incidents where that's happened. So if you even if you're not Starfleet, if you see something big, you're supposed to tell Starfleet. They go, "Hey, don't go looking at that. Let us look at that. We don't know what that is." But if it's small, it's like, that happens sometimes. Anomalies happen.
So you have the variometric data on that?
That's actually what I've been reading from here. Great thing about Halanak Station, its fidelity across the sector is pretty nice. You just have to sit there and have it watch the same area for a very long time. But yeah, have a look.
Right.
Give me reason science. Difficulty of... difficulty, it normally would be 5, but because this is a dedicated research facility for this sort of thing, it drops it down to 4.
Okay.
And assisted by station's computer science.
And one thing Ven is going to explicitly do, just in case. Wait, Ven's quantum signature is actually from this reality now, so never mind. 2 momentum on the table. I'm not gonna burn anything super special for this yet. I'm going to top of the class trait.
Yep.
Cool. That brings it down to 3. Take a threat and 2 momentum. Astrophysics focus.
Yep.
Reason science, you said?
Yes, I do.
Cool. Alright, leaving that as is. And someone else is gonna have to roll the station because Penn dipped.
Ariana, you're XO.
Pulling it up. Where do we store it? Oh, Halanak Station. Okay, it was in the middle. What am I rolling?
Sensors. Sensors? Sensor science.
You sounded very unsure there, but okay. Nothing.
That's
2,
okay.
3,
I
4, 5.
generated 2 momentum.
You're still not quite sure what some of this FIS specific jargon means.
Yeah, I'm not super good with the actual station systems yet, but what I lack in that, I more than make up for in just sheer personal experience and knowledge of the raw science.
Well, there's some preliminary stuff that you learn about the most notable star system in that nebula. There's various other star systems with various stars, because nebula.
You get a threat and I gain a bonus momentum.
Oh, did I not give myself a threat? Okay.
No. I just rolled my
Oh, you just rolled your thing. Yep.
Untapped thing to.
Oh, and boop. So there's the primary star system, of course, that I've direct messaged you. And one thing you notice is where'd your character grow up again? On Earth?
Yeah, on Earth.
You see, hold on, I gotta make sure I get the right thing here. Oh, come here. Sorry, having a book.
Okay, well, I'm looking at this list of planets, but this isn't the solar system, I can tell.
What? I would never just randomly throw in our actual solar system as a clue to something. When have I ever done that?
Done it before.
Can't prove that.
Never done it ever. Nope.
Huh.
Is that your esteemed expert opinion as an astronomer that you can identify any solar system as either being the solar system or just a solar system?
Okay. Is there anything else, or is that it?
There's something else. I'm trying to figure out how I need to word it without just straight up saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Brain.
And Geomortius, that's like a molten planet, is that right? Or is it like a dead world?
I believe Geomortius is a molten world. I'll double check myself. Actually, it's been a bit.
Oh, it's like a Mercury type.
Yep.
Okay, so it's not molten, but it's like.
Ha! I knew this was a thing. Very good.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it's like Mercury.
You notice that there is a specific pattern in the various star systems that is of note. I'm trying to get you the. Except my browser is fighting me. Best way to do this would be this way. So you see here, it is. Everything looks the way it's supposed to. But at the same time, I don't know, this quantum variance seems to suggest this strange pattern. I'm not really sure what it is.
Right. Yeah. No, these are certainly abnormal readings.
And you even notice a slight quantum surge around them, which isn't the strangest thing in the world, but it's around these particular points.
Right. Normally, you'd expect a variance like this to be uniform over a wide area and not localized around specific points.
So it looks like the computer's, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like the computer has confirmed that this isn't just some me seeing patterns for the sake of seeing patterns. This is actually something that the sensors are actually seeing.
Right, right. Oh. Huh. Wait. That's looks like a constellation.
A what?
Constellation. I think that's. Oh boy. I have my bonus momentum. Do I recognize that constellation? Especially given that I grew up. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh,
Okay.
that's one of those Earth superstitions, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I grew up on Earth, in Rome, so my mom occasionally would tell me some of the old Earth mythologies, and my dad, when he was around, would tell me some of the Betazoid mythologies, but the Earth mythologies, that's Aquarius.
Okay.
That specific pattern of points is Aquarius.
Money and understanding, sympathy and trust abounding. No more falsehoods or derisions, only in
God
living
damn it.
dreams of
I
visions.
was waiting. I was waiting for the
Mystic crystal revelations, Aquarius.
How to get copy struck?
I don't think I was enough in tune for YouTube to
No.
recognize it.
Nope.
Well, wait a minute. That can't be right. I mean, the chances of it forming into a pattern exactly like that are astronomical, no? I mean, that's from the point of view of Earth.
Right. So here's my question, GM. So for these points here, what frame of reference are we observing these points from?
From Halanak Station itself. So from Upantar, one could arguably say it would come a different way, but from the point of view of Upantar itself, or in Halanak Station as the station orbit, because Halanak Station is in orbit of Upantar.
Gonna play a hunch. If knowing that Aquarius is there, if I try to calibrate the sensors on the station for it, knowing what I'm looking for, am I able to pick up other constellations where one would assume those constellations to be?
For momentum, I'll answer that.
I have indeed. Hang on. I will burn my. I'm not going to burn the one that can quash a complication. I'm going to burn the one that just gives me the 2. The Medal of Honor.
Okay.
I'll burn one of the clusters on my Starfleet Medal of Honor to gain 2 bonus momentum.
They have one float out there.
Yeah. So I still have 1 float, but yes.
As you scan about from your point of view, you see Do not see any other of the constellation.
Okay. So it's just this one in this one place. It's not like if I look to where I would assume Cassiopeia to be, I see Cassiopeia in the same weird
Actually, you know what?
quantum.
I'll take that back. I'll shove that momentum back at you. And you can take back the metal spin, because it just occurred to me you wouldn't know, because this isn't quite appearing in the same way. It's not like the formation of it's like a formation of certain points of light. It's a formation of certain quantum variant signals that are appearing in that one particular thing.
No, I get that, but I'm thinking if I look in where I would expect.
Well, the problem is for you to do that, you'd have to let the thing process. It would take time for it to get that information again, because it's scanning stuff that's particularly far away to see that particular pattern. That's what's different as well. It's not like it's not the similar lumen light that you would see when looking up in the night sky. It's using a sensor to detect a certain thing,
right?
And that certain thing is in that weird pattern.
I wasn't sure about the amount of time it takes to get those kinds of readings from the station. Okay, in which case I would suggest to him, hey, you might want to pull up the data logs on, Earth constellations and look elsewhere for them. But, I mean, with an Earth constellation, there's no... there are other stars within a constellation for...
As you're saying that, Ven, give me fitness medicine roll.
Oh, no.
Difficulty of 5.
Oh. You know what? Because I think this is gonna be more fun. I'm not even gonna spend anything on this.
Okay.
I'm just gonna take the hits as they come. This is gonna suck.
And Ben begins to trail off as he stares into the stars. And betwixt them, he sees a gate of amber.
I can see everything.
Meanwhile, back in holding. Nope, no. Kovic, you have finished your explanation and brief to Bator. He's going to consider it, and he asked for like a document, which you told him that he's allowed to have a document to read over what you've told him already, and you've kind of highlighted the areas he wants to look up, and he'll give it a look over and see what he wants to do and figure out which advocate he wants to use to discuss it in detail and stuff. But overall, you're fairly certain you got through to him. Like, he understands that he can get a lot of, if not outright immunity, he can at least get a very severely lessened charges if he just like, hey, if you want to get out, there's a way to do it. But it seems Centurion Roloff wants to speak with you today.
Ooh, it's just a day full of Romulans. Like every day.
Yeah,
sure. He could come on back to the office.
Yeah, he will. Oh, that is a door there. Okay. I was like, where are the entrances? There.
There are done. Ha 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 ha.
You've just sealed yourself fully. Has
Right.
Rule already come back, or is he actually not here yet?
Rule... No, he's going on a walk.
Yeah.
He specifically made sure he wasn't here.
He'll just, press the button on the door and step in.
Yep.
Gun blazing.
Kovic will pause in writing up the formal charges of, assault with a deadly, assault with intent, attempted murder for law, and then all of the various charges for Zalox to start them moving through the system. What can I do for you, Centurion?
With any luck, absolutely nothing.
Easy enough.
We'll find out after, a few words that I've been asked by a concerned party to have with you.
Okay.
It's in regards to the Talshia enlisted man that is currently being held.
Mm-hmm.
It has been observed that he has not been handed off to his resident liaison officer or assigned officer for processing.
Well,
And there is questioning as to why. And I have, unfortunately, been asked to ask you questions.
okay.
So
Well,
what is going on with that man?
rule, the liaison officer is the liaison officer.
Yes, he is.
So, but to this point, the FIS has no extradition treaties or any sort of agreements with the empire or the state. So, when it comes to handing over prisoners, there's no process in place for that to happen.
Oh, I'm aware.
Now, I could inform him that we have a prisoner from the Empire, but I don't see the need since obviously he already knows. Now, if he wants to, start the process of getting those agreements in place, then that's a political issue, and he'll have to take it up with the appropriate people in Parliament. But it needs to start with him making an official request for extradition or what have you, and then that gets kicked up, and it's a whole thing.
It is a whole thing that apparently he wishes to try and sidestep via myself. So when I said hopefully nothing, it was generally always going to be nothing, though I do have some questions about what is actually going on with this man. I would be curious by nature.
Well,
Being
he's
charged.
we have not officially filed charges yet. That matter is still under discussion. I'm actually catching up on the paperwork now. I'm currently working on our friend Law and the Orion that you folks so graciously provided me with while I was on my little tour there. There are a lot of charges. Yeah, there are a lot of charges between those two, but I will get to the Ulan in due course. I can assure you he's been being treated very well in full accordance with FIS regulations and laws. He is enjoying his bologna sandwiches.
And I'm going to assume that me talking to him is entirely out of the question whatsoever.
At this point, yes, until we finish processing. Unless, of course, he asks for you to serve as his advocate. And do you agree?
Well, we'd have to talk before that even happened, really, considering he is one side of a conflict and I am another.
So he just kind of shrugs.
We naturally would need to make sure that, or have some understanding that the other is not trying to trick the other. It's really a unfortunate habit that we've all developed.
Well, then it's fortunate for both of you that the person in question is in FIS custody, and therefore neither side both sides will have equal access to the prisoner. meaning none at this point.
Oh, yes. What do you believe is likely to happen with him, though? Just in your professional opinion.
Well, here's the thing, Centurion. Since this whole debacle with the flyaway space station and the mysterious Savix Cast colony and who knows which part of the Civil War is doing this and that and the other thing, it's become very clear that neither side in this conflict has any interest in really telling me what the hell is going on and happening, which you have to understand makes me entirely reticent to be terribly forthcoming with either side about what I think might be happening.
Not being told things is frustrating in a shocking degree. Though I believe I've told you pretty much everything I've known as it's come up.
Have you, though?
Yes.
I think you know a lot more about what's been going on at the what went on with the whole mysterious station than you've been letting on. But I believe the same thing about Rule. I find it odd that you're both withholding information about the same thing.
The one thing I believe I withheld from you was simply so I could verify it first. And that was that some of the resources used in the operation had come from state sites. But that is also because the operation started before the Civil War did.
So both sides were involved.
No. Before the Civil War, it was just the Empire. And if the Telshia wished to run an operation, they could use any factory they wished from any planet they wished.
Right, but okay, so the Civil War has been going on for how long now?
A few years.
And this operation continued?
Call it a commendable dedication to duty.
I don't know. I call it a violation of FIS sovereignty.
I would agree. But this is also not the Navy's purview, and I am not an intelligence officer. So when I say I can't tell you something, that is because I need to check with my government before they decide I have committed some form of treason. Which I would rather not have that whole lovely jumble of things step up.
Fair enough. Let's just say that for the protection of the individual in question, the FIS at this point is restricting access to him and information concerning his case to FIS authorities directly. Either side of the either Romulan government can, of course, submit requests to gain information. And should the situation change beyond he's in our cell, he's being processed, then more than likely we will inform the relevant government or governments as to what action is being taken at that time.
Which is all perfectly reasonable. Is there one thing I might be able to help you with, actually?
No, do tell.
Do you have a feed of his cell or any footage of the individual?
Well, sure.
I could tell you what his uniform means. If there's anything specific that might be useful to you. Which, yes, you have to trust me, but I hope can, at least to some extent.
All right, sure. I'll pull up the feed of him on my monitor.
I mean, I can also tell you what the colors are, and I believe, is it the Savix cast? Can see the same colors?
Yeah.
They just don't know what they mean.
Yeah. It's the matter between meaning and colors, but I can tell you what the colors are, and then you could have one of them look at it if you really want them to say the colors are the same.
Give me insight command difficulty of 2. Normally be 1 for most Romulans, but Tal-Shiar colorations can be a little vague.
I wonder why.
What? Something to do with the Romulans being vague? I think so.
Don't worry, give it a few years. All the mystery will be peeled away.
Investigative techniques. Focus.
Yeah.
And you said if 2, I'll give you a threat. Oh, you have none. That's kind of shocking.
Mm-hmm. I've done my damage.
You said insight command?
Yeah.
There we go. Apparently didn't need the third one, but there you go. That's interesting and also maybe potentially problematic. He'll say that, like that's how he's going to phrase it. Is right. So he's primarily specialized or directed in under department to exotic hazardous materials, temporal research, and development as 2 separate things.
Exotic hazardous materials, temporal research and development.
As 2 separate things. Exotic hazardous materials, separate.
Right.
Research and development. The interesting thing is the temporal research and development. That is generally a interesting subject to touch upon.
It gives me a headache.
Oh, believe me, it gives me more of a headache if he's actually done something.
Well, I mean, you were there with the whole disappearing, reappearing, destroying mess out there.
Yes and no. I was outside the event of the subspace anomaly, and it was subspace, not temporal. I never got any indications of anything temporal. The exotic substances is likely reactor materials in this case.
Well, and also a quasi-dimensional who's-he-what's-it showed up and harassed you and your crew.
Quasi-dimensional is separate to temporal.
It's fair, but I'm just saying there was hinky stuff going on that was hinky enough to attract the attention of somebody like the Badger, and this boy was part of all that hinky stuff. Who knows what was going on?
The boy is also a Ulan, or by Starfleet equivalent, he is a petty officer. He's a lower enlisted.
Right. Knew that.
I would keep that in mind for what you might expect to hear from him.
Right.
Tal-Shiar in particular, not that I know terribly much about their inner workings, but we found more out since fighting them.
Very compartmentalized.
Yes. If you can keep me somewhat vaguely in the loop, I'd appreciate it. I won't get in your way, as much as some people might like me to get in the way.
Fair.
If there is something sensitive, I'm not expecting you to hide it or asking you to. I wouldn't do that. I would like to know. If it is something that is going to happen and come out, I would like someone or my people to hear it from me rather than a news story or from you, if that makes sense.
Depending on what information might come of this, if any, and I honestly don't know how any of this is going to fall out. That may not be up to me,
Understandable.
but I'll do what I can.
I am trying to build bridges, Harmonizer, as much as my people have a reputation for, well, the opposite of that.
Well, I get that, and I understand that, but as I said, if something particularly sensitive or terribly interesting comes of this investigation, I have to pass it to my superiors first, and depending on what it is, that may get compartmentalized on the FIS's end. I'll do what I can to give you any kind of heads up that I can. I'm just letting you know that.
Our hands are both tied in some way
Right.
or another.
Right, exactly. But I do appreciate you reaching out, and I see that. Sorry if I came on a little strong. It's just I'm a little frustrated with the way that case went completely to hell in a handbasket.
Oh, believe me, I am well aware of the frustrations that come from not knowing everything.
Mm.
Even without the Tal Shiar looming over our shoulders, naval intelligence is still skittish. Even more so, given our enemy is us. If that makes
Okay,
sense.
that's a little bit too much for me this early in the day.
I mean, do you need some coffee?
I have some coffee. I stopped by Coors on the way here. I didn't get enough smokes, but I got some coffee.
Do you need something stronger than coffee?
Mm. Never touch the stuff anymore. The stronger stuff than coffee.
That depends on what you... There's a lot of things stronger than coffee, just anything in general. Because the phrasing could mean many things. I don't know. A former crime lord turned harmonizer. That would be quite the story.
But in any event, like I said,
your way.
I'll let you know.
Let me know if there's anything I can do or any information that you might need.
Will do.
Phrase that doesn't translate properly. Or to Laura, from my understanding, you two get along quite well.
Mm.
Don't lose a limb.
It seems to be going around these days.
How is the head, by the way?
Well, the headache's almost gone, but then I come into work and it returns.
Well, I apologize for adding to that.
Mm.
A little bit. Any more than a little, and it wouldn't be genuine.
That's fair. All right, scoot. I've got to work.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll have any information that you don't have on the Orion forwarded to you.
Ah, excellent.
And I believe his ship has been moved fully from the Da Vinci to the station if you wanted to take a look at it. It was a Klingon model. He was hiding in the wall panels.
Interesting. Oh, I've got messages.
Like Discord messages?
Yes, like Corbinian messages.
I will refrain from leaving the room until you know that's for sure or not.
Okay, why is this coming to me, GM?
You're the harmonizer, and this person's reporting to you.
Oh my god, but this is all spaceship stuff.
Well, the lieutenant wasn't really in the position to move further. They have to check with you first. It's like,
that's fair.
Here's what I found. Here's what I suggest. That's as far as I can go. I legally can't I can't move beyond you. You're my superior.
Okay, so I'm going to kick this up the chain. Because most of this I can't really do. So I'm going to kick it up the chain to the lieutenant captain of the Stars with a request that she ask that she, what is the Steel Fleet? Is that what it's called? And perhaps ask for Starfleet's assistance with this. And then I will, there's several things I'm going to do. First, I want to call medical and let them know that I'm going to be coming to examine the dead bodies from the attack. Just to let them know I'm coming. I'm going to call Sapientia.
Mm-hmm.
This is after I've kicked this up the chain. Is she like banished to Upentar, or can I ask her to come back up to the station for questioning?
No, she could come back. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I'll ask her to return to the station because I need to ask her some questions.
I think I'll end the scene there and pull up to the station as a whole.
I'm pretty sure Relic stepped out as he was doing that because it's like, oh no, that is not stuff I need to hear.
Hey, guess who got some more cryptic gate bullshit?
You're the one.
There's another goddamn gate.
You're the one who's always, I didn't want to spend any resources on it. This will be fun.
You made the choice.
Yeah, I did.
Suffer.
Oh.
Listen, Ralph was just being friendly. I get to be a bit mean.
Yeah, exactly.
So GM, if this person is reporting, would they know the difference between the Empire and the state?
Whoopsie.
Are
that the wrong
Wait,
person?
why
Sorry.
won't they?
Ignore that.
I was gonna say, I don't think I'm supposed to get that.
Nope, you're not. Sorry, ask your question again. I sent the report to the wrong person.
Oh, there's a mention of the Romulan Star Empire, and I was just wondering if this person is astute enough to differentiate between the Tal Shiar and the state, or if that's just the blanket.
Blanket uniformed Romulan.
Yeah, the blanket, those pointy-eared bastards.
This person seems to not be politically sensitive, to put it that
Fair.
way. So,
Yep.
I'll just leave it. I'll just leave that.
And when I
you
pass-
sent me the Odyssey.
Yeah, when I pass it up the chain, I will strongly recommend that we implement these recommendations. Kovic
Spicy.
harmonizer.
At this point, Ben, you've snapped out of your reverie and you've been in your reverie, seeing things for I don't know, a half an hour or so.
Oh, jeez.
Been seeing things with a vengeance.
Yeah. Wait, I have a question. So I saw that gate. Is that the same gate that I already saw, or is this a different gate?
Insight. No. Insight Science, difficulty 2.
Because I think the last one was like an ice gate. You said this one's an amber gate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just the ice on it melted. Same gate.
Could be.
Don't. Oh, like I made an actual point. I was entirely trying to.
GM, take a threat.
Certainly.
Just seeing what I got. Is it Insight Science? Difficulty 2. Okay. Astrophysics focus?
I wouldn't say so, no.
Okay, that's fair. Had to try. I still got 2.
It is a different gate, but of similar purpose.
Okay.
And I'm going to answer a question real quick with the map. This is the sector... Oopsie. This is the sector you guys are in?
Mm-hmm.
This is the sector report's talking about.
The one above us.
To the right of.
Okay, I see what you mean. The one to our east-ish.
Yeah.
Anti-spinward.
Nerd. Okay. I would like to
Nerd who can
organize
navigate.
a senior staff meeting with everyone I can get about this. Because this is a pretty big deal.
You summon...
No, I hate big deals.
So leave Kovic's office because that's not my problem, and then get called to a meeting because it apparently is my problem.
This
Hi,
is everyone's problem.
Haifa gets a request for a meeting with Serana that's urgent and has things everybody needs to know about, and I suddenly worry about what happened with the balloons.
I'll note to Lieutenant Captain of Stars that the Rear Admiral has gone down to Upantar with his adjunct to work on something, so he won't be able to attend. But he trusts you to deal with this.
To do work, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Eyebrow raises.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
probably
Gone
all
to do some work.
They're I'd swap places with them if I could.
I hope not.
That's their own business
Yeah,
if they want to.
No,
We don't
no,
want them like
that's
transported to the
because he was on
conference room.
vacation. God, get your minds out of its gutter.
We all said eyebrow wiggling, and then you're like, I would swap. It's like, in the context of what had been going on, you're the one that said something out of place.
This is a mess.
God. Y'all are going to hell.
Yeah, but that's for other reasons.
On his way to the sudden meeting.
What species is Serana again?
Upentari.
Upentari.
Upentari. That's the thing about Upentari. They can fit into all kinds of places.
Kovic will stop by Kor's Coffee, which is a Klingon coffee house, to get another cup of coffee, and he will first ask for a pack of dope sticks, and then pause and change his mind and go ahead and get a carton, and then head to the meeting.
So Kovac has a bag of smokes with him.
No, it's just a carton under his arm and a cup of coffee to go with a dope stick hanging out of his mouth.
And when everyone gets here, there's going to be some pads on the desk in front of every seat with this information on it.
Kovic will replicate an ashtray.
Sub Commander will come to sit down and actually makes an effort to sit kind of near Ryloff and Vin.
What you need to replicate is some very dramatic shades next to it, like a sharp neon line, so the glow sign, so the glow is like on your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Serana looks very dour, and once everyone is in, she's going to say, okay, what I tell you now does not leave this room. Is everyone clear on that?
Chris?
Is the sub commander here in the room?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Why are they here?
their fleet liaison.
Yep.
He's a trusted member of our senior staff.
I don't know about trusted.
Oh. I hate this. I hate the decision even more than I hated it before.
I cannot promise that what is said, if this is of security risk to the true empire of Romulus, then I can't promise it won't leave. It will leave this room, but unless it's an imminent threat, I'm not required to report it. That's the most I could say to you, Lieutenant Captain of Stars. I imagine the Centurion here is of a similar position.
Then perhaps
I
sub commander
want
doesn't need to
give
be
them
here.
a very strong look, and I want to say, either you are on this team or you can sit outside of this room. Make your choice now.
It is up to you whether to exclude a liaison of the Romulan Empire, but whether you have our assistance depends on whether or not I know what you're even talking about.
Kovic points his forked fingers, one at Rylov and one at Rule, and go, all right, it is very important that we know if either of your governments have cloaked vessels operating in sector, whatever it is, I'm not in front of it right now, at this time.
Sector 432T?
Yes.
One moment. Look it up. Takes his pad, starts typing away at it.
This constitutes a grave security risk to my nation. I need not remind you that it was mere weeks ago in which we discovered an entire Romulan fleet had snuck past our sensors, and I filed reports recommending an increase to security then, and I was ignored. And this is what it leads to. It's embarrassing, it is a disgrace, and we need to do something about it.
According to my
Lieutenant Captain, that was at most a battle group.
I can report, as far as I've been briefed, that the Romulan Empire has not deployed another battle group in this region. The last authorization I had was for the diplomatic fleet that you met with before. I see no other.
Commander, be honest with me. If you were under orders not to share this information, would you share it?
Kovic rolls his eyes.
It may not
Captain,
even be that complicated. The sub commander here probably knows very little of Romulan fleet movements with how secretive Romulan command styles can be. It very well could be there and he wouldn't know about it.
Sayrana, you can give me presence command difficulty of 3 to see how honest Rule is with you.
I thought I could trust your people.
You shouldn't trust anyone.
Literally from the spy agency. What are you on about?
Kovic half jokes and goes, please don't say things like that when I'm drinking.
Are you telling me that Sirana might have had an overly rosy and view of people not from the FIS?
I also find it pertinent to mention that the sub-commander and myself represent two different factions that are at war, and I imagine we would rather prefer not to disclose where our fleets may or may not be moving through next to each other, with the full understanding that if I heard something or he heard something, he would tell his superiors and I would tell mine, which would lead to deaths.
Yeah, you said diff 3 before. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna have a focus, and I'm not going to have a focus because I don't have a people reading focus. Will you take 3 threat for people reading focus actually off of Walking Encyclopedia?
Certainly.
Or 2, excuse me.
2.
It's only 2 to do that. And I'll take another threat for 3 dice. You said insight, right? Well, it's the same number.
Presence, because you're pressing upon Rule to just be straight with you. You get a momentum out of that. Lieutenant Commander Haifa is correct in that it is very possible that my superiors and Ryla's superiors would not, if give us full information as to exact fleet movements. However, given the delicate situation that the Empire and the Senate have with the free information sphere, it is not in either of our interests to... It is one thing to show that we are stronger than you. It is a whole other matter to sit on your borders to prepare for war. If we were to be at war, I would not be here, and neither would be Ryloff. We would be in our respective ships. So my analysis of the situation is that if this was some sort of fleet that was moving, it is coming from a very odd direction. Because it's coming from, frankly, the wrong direction. I will also highlight that the majority of forces on the trailing edge of the Romulan Empire are under rebel control, not Imperial control. So even bypassing his forces, their forces, to even send the diplomatic group was a rather, some would say daring, others would say a difficult operation. To go through all that effort simply to hide on the other side of your space seems excessive to me.
It would seem likely that in the case that the Empire was preparing for war, that there are numerous superiors that you have that would sacrifice you easily to make a more complete surprise attack.
Do we have any information about any Klingon forces in the region?
I don't have
More
any
pertinent
hard
question to
connections with the
Captain
Klingon Empire. Does anyone here?
I feel like that would actually be Thralic amongst these people who might know the most,
Yes.
because,
Oh.
yeah. So, GM, do I know anything about Klingon movements in the area?
Reason Command, difficulty 3. Assisted by Station's Computers Command. Normally you wouldn't be able to do this role, but you are a command officer, so you're supposed to be, as part of the Shackleton Exploration Group, as it were, you're supposed to be made aware of fleet movements.
Yeah, I was thinking specifically because we're in the shaft.
Yeah.
You also have
All
to
right.
be friends with someone who knows where they are.
Yeah.
Well, the Federation also has an alliance with them, so.
Strategy and tactics focus here?
Yep.
Cool. I will spend momentum for an extra die. That's 4 hits.
Plus Station Computer Command.
Yeah. So, Rana, you want to grab the station?
Yeah, sorry, for gore. What am I rolling for the station?
Computer Command.
It's the wrong sheet. Computers.
Five total.
Yep. Right.
Any gained?
I think it's 2 off that?
Yep.
I spent 1.
Yep.
So we gain. We're up to 2.
Pulling over to the galaxy map. Most of the forces are in this frontier, this larger area, these sectors. There is some movement along here for some expeditions by the House of Gitta, but they haven't. The primary bit is this. Probably something like this would be the amount of influence, and even that, and the bit that's beyond these sectors is primarily scouting ships. But no one's gone like all the way over here. It's too far. The last time they had, I'd have to double check. You'd have to check with Gungnir's logs, but I don't think any Klingon forces went all the way to where the Tripoli is, which they're up here. There was a big fight over there at some point, but that was Though any such forces that were dedicated to that would have long by now come back to Narendra Station, because that's too far from the Empire to be supported. There is a province or two in this region, but that's the closest they have. They don't have any outposts or representatives, official representatives on Halanak Station.
Yeah, then Captain Thralic will say, I don't know of any Klingon movements in that sector. There's a possibility it could be Tripolity forces, but it seems odd, and honestly, our most recent interactions with them have been positive, so I doubt they'd be making a hostile move. As for other Alpha or Beta Quadrant known powers, if you're talking about individuals with access to cloaking devices, I'm not aware of any who would have been able to fight their way through Klingon space in order to get there.
We did previously, before arrival at Halanak Station, have an encounter with privateers that were using old Romulan vessels.
Freelancers, essentially.
But, Lieutenant Captain, I believe more of a briefing might be needed before I can contribute any other advice.
I understand. I believe the only thing we can do at this point is attempt to implement these security features, and I must request that you send the Da Vinci out to investigate this matter. Even if you fail to find anything substantive, we'll at least show the flag and let them know that we know that they're out there and that they're no longer hidden.
Thralic, ESP poke. Want to spend for it?
Yes, I would like to.
Smiley face.
I'm gonna get something cryptic and like threatening. It's always fun.
4. Whether or not you're able to, whether or not it's clear or it's very obscure, it will depend on this roll. Give me fitness, medicine, or command. Difficulty of 4.
All right, I'll take command. It's an entire 4 better. Do I have a focus?
Something to do with your sonic ability or mental control, that sort of thing.
Let's see. Observation or guidance, potentially?
Observation. I'll take it.
Because I have a separate trait for this, psionic.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the nature of this thing, calm in the storm, maybe, but probably not.
No, that wouldn't apply yet.
Cool.
This is currently the calm before the storm.
Yeah. Fair. All right. I'll throw a couple others at the wall based off of what has been discussed. Decorated military family?
No.
Okay. Hoplite commander?
No.
Oh. So I'm going to effectively difficulty 3. I'll spend 1 for a third die. 1 momentum, that is. Generate 2 off that.
It would have been way more cryptic if you hadn't made that roll. I will say that the difficulty came that you saw a rush of information blast past you for a second, and normally you've had these sensations where it's just kind of a gut feeling, it's a quote or something. This was like a clear pin in a lake. You just picked it out of the maelstrom. You just picked it out and grabbed it as a piece of information. You're not usually able to do that. It's hard to control how that works. It's almost like it was left there for you to grab.
Alright.
And something tried to make sure you couldn't grab it, even though it was within reach. Captain, are you alright? Says Roll, who kind of looks at who's peering at you as you're having that look you get when you're having one of your moments. It's the first time they've seen you do this, so they're kind of like, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine like Seirana is kind of rambling on words, and you just get like that ringing noise, and you tune it out, and you get this sensation.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Sub-Commander. Lieutenant Van.
Yes?
Do you know anyone who might have some insights into these stellar fluctuations?
Well, I think I might, but I think I might. I've been trying to puzzle over it for the past hour or so, but I had another event.
Rule will look at Rylov very confused. Just kind of raises an eyebrow and then doesn't say anything. Just looks at you like, what the hell is this about?
Rylov is giving nothing away.
Inscrutable, so...
Yeah.
This is normal. There is nothing unexpected being said here.
Internally, what?
Ben can entirely tell that is a lie, but...
I'm so confused.
I was looking into some stellar phenomenon down at the observatories. I'd met a rather friendly scientist who wanted me to assist him with some research, and we were looking at a nebula, and well, I saw this, and he shifts the shifts the pad across the table, and you see what appeared to be a number of points of like signal fluctuation with lines connecting them, and they appear to be in the shape of a constellation.
Which one?
This is Aquarius, an Earth constellation. Yet somehow, when these quantum signatures are viewed from here at Halanak Station, they form the exact same shape of the constellation of Aquarius as if it was being viewed from Earth.
It would suggest that humans are involved, or someone who has interest in Earth.
Well, that'd be one thing, but then came what I saw next. He lets out a breath and he looks Thralic, like dead in the eyes. I saw another gate.
Okay.
What is a gate?
I have completely lost track of this conversation. How does any of this tie back into the issues at hand?
It indicates that we might be dealing with something with power over universal laws and psychic disturbances?
He nods.
I sincerely hope not.
As do I.
Let me see.
So, what are these? You said they were signal fluctuations. These points. What's the nature of these fluctuations?
Quantum in nature.
Could-
That would match previous observations.
We wanted to look into them in case it was heralding any larger quantum dimensional disturbance, whether that be a full-on dimensional incursion or just dimensional anomalies.
So, how big are each of these fluctuations?
Yeah, that's the. How big are they, GM?
I'll gobble. Well, no, I won't gobble anything for that. That's something. They're about this. Your DM has forgotten all of a sudden. 1 second.
Big enough to be noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to figure what, like, are they on the scale of like a solar system, or are they projected all across the nebula, or
That's not what I'm looking for. They're about the size of stars, essentially.
okay, and spread across the nebula.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, quantum fluctuations. So you're saying these could each be dimensional transfer points, bleed throughs?
In a matter of speaking, again, we'd have to do more research. This is only based on the preliminary data, and entirely down to the fact that I got lucky and noticed a pattern.
And these were where, GM?
These were.
Hang
Oops,
on.
wrong one. Sorry. Oop.
These were in a nebula that we were scanning in the Eta subquadrant. Lambda subquadrant.
Okay, so may or may not have anything to do with what's going on in the sector next door.
And here's the most concerning part, and the part I'm still trying to wrap my head around, and, well, if anyone's gonna help me interpret what this means, it's probably you, Captain. And he
Yes?
looked like he sort of rolls his eyes up a little bit as though he's like trying to recall something. Okay. This time is unity and self-discipline, and the inevitable control over all forces in the universe. Society comes to an end,
and the time of inheritance
begins. Wise is elder to the dance toward inheritance, and knows when to not fight for a lost cause. Thus is the information Ven does now know from the Gate of Aquarius.
Roll kind of gives Rylov a look. As Rylov, you recognize part of that. Society comes to an end, the time of inheritance begins is like a phrase in like Romulan theology.
Did somebody post that in the Discord, maybe?
Yeah. Now here's something I have to ask you, GM.
Sure.
Because I clocked this, but I don't know if this means anything. And I'll copy pasta it all in. I noticed that there are a few words in there that are capitalized.
Mm-hmm.
Is Ven aware of those capitalizations?
Yep. If he were to type it out on a pad, he would find himself compelled to capitalize, like he's supposed to do that. That's how you say it. That's how you'd write it properly.
So that's the interesting thing. And, he separates out all these words that are, other than the ones that obviously start sentences. Inheritance, elder.
Elder. Sounds
Damn.
familiar.
Inheritance again. Fight. Lost cause. Information.
There is a phrase there that is distinctly Romulan.
Like, there are a number of things that either are meant to be important, proper nouns.
Or, it's translated from German.
I agree with Ryloff here. There is a phrase in, well, frankly, outdated theologies back on Romulus. Society comes to an end and the time of inheritance begins as a sort of prophecy, a promise of a sort of uplifting of Romulans as a whole. Some have attributed to the teachings of Sarek or a greater understanding of the universe, that sort of thing. I'm very shocked to hear a half Betazoid reciting that exact line.
So is that enlightenment? Is that what the inheritance is?
Never went to monasteries. I was an analyst. I just heard it from my grandmother years ago.
Technically.
Okay.
It's also argued as a vague paraphrase to the start of the Romulan people. I mean, society came to an end and we inherited the stars and Romulus.
Might there
one
be
of those to repeat.
Might there be something relating to this in Vulcan texts?
It's possible. Some of that mystical nonsense. Well, I like to say it's nonsense, but apparently it's not. But they may know of such things.
There might be some common literary connections in the religious
Perhaps.
literature.
Maybe you should run it through one of the famous Starfleet library computers. See if it tags anything.
Yeah, although a lot of that stuff is in physical paper records on Vulcan, might take a little time to get responses, but
And that, of course, depends on when it was written.
It is possible that either my government or the government in exile, he motions at Ryloff, may have records that the Vulcans lost. Rourke just gives Ryloff a look and just leaves it at that.
uh-huh.
I must interject now. All of this is very interesting, but how does it tie back into the security threat on our eastern border?
There's a good likelihood that it is the security threat on your eastern border.
Then my position is still that we must take the Da Vinci and mount an expedition to the east. That's the only way we will find out for sure.
I agree, but I do think that it's prudent to do preliminary research into what exactly we think we might find out there before we depart.
Very well, but the longer we wait, the greater the risk becomes.
Lieutenant Captain's right. If you have an enemy, if you have a hostile or a hostile fleet, let's just be realistic about it. If there's a hostile fleet sitting out there, and it's not us, and we didn't know it was out there, the fleet that you have is not sufficient for a battle group that's larger than what we already presented here, beyond your Halanak station.
And if this is another gate, then we need to know as much as we possibly can. Last time we encountered one of these things, we knew next to nothing about it, and we slammed into it face first, and it wasn't pleasant.
And yes, it was quick action in that particular case that proved necessary.
Agreed. I propose that we make ready for the Da Vinci to depart in 5 hours, gather the information we can before then, and then set off.
Yes, that sounds good. I will coordinate with my government, increase patrols in that area to ensure that we are covering all holes and that there are no more gaps. In the long term, we must work on increasing the size of our patrol fleet and our sensor buoys across our entire Shackleton area, because truly, the amount of things that are slipping by our notice is growing embarrassing.
Don't hold yourself too much to account, Lieutenant Captain. This is a whole sector away from your known space. It's amazing that any of your security apparatus learned of this in the first place.
Agreed.
Nor is it expected for most people to detect cloaked vessels.
Especially when those cloaked vessels have spies in important places.
More especially when the faction trying to detect them has lesser technology in that regard.
Plus, this report says civilian vessels detected them, so random freighters seeing cloaking tech. That either implies sloppiness on the fleet commander's part, or technological failing.
Age.
Or they want it to be seen. They want us to investigate.
Which could mean they're trying to lure things away, but there's too many ifs here. It could also be another polity with primitive cloaking technology. We just don't know.
At the end of the day, it's a Starfleet ship, and what Starfleet ships do is fly over there and take a look, regardless if it's a trap or not.
And
Just don't look at Thralic.
Certainly true.
Starfleet is good at that.
And I've spotted cloaked vessels on, well, I'd say at least half a dozen occasions. At least.
From top-of-the-line starships within Starfleet. That is an entirely different matter.
Well, we all know what we have to do to prepare. This meeting is adjourned. We shall meet back here on... We shall meet back on the Da Vinci in 5 hours' time.
So, before that, how nothing leaves this room is that? Are we debriefing our ship's crew?
Well, previously I did not think we were mounting an expedition. Yes, you may inform your crew of what's going on.
I simply had to ask before we broke any of your rules.
I understand.
Would you like me to... I mean, I can keep it to myself, but if you want me to reconfirm, get an official response from the Imperial Senate, I'll need to send a message requesting for confirmation. The information I presented to you is what I was given at last communication. But if I ask what for fleet movements, they're going to want to know why.
If you may, that would be much appreciated. I apologize for becoming curt with you. I am merely worried about the defense of my people, and that passion can make me angry. I apologize.
No offense taken, Lieutenant Captain. It is the duty of any officer to do everything and beyond to defend their empire.
Great.
And then Subcommander gives some acknowledgement nods. But then, as Varen starts stepping out, you can feel off of him this deep sense of unease. Like they're creeped out.
Yep.
Makes sense.
I can make the same request to the state, Lieutenant Captain. Though there's no guarantees I will hear anything back.
Make the request anyways. You never know.
And Ven looks to Throlic and the Lieutenant Captain of the Stars and says, well, and the sensor apparatus on the Da Vinci's just undergone a upgrade, so our eyes are ready.
That's good.
We'll put him through her paces.
Harmonizer,
Yes.
do you wish for any of the Da Vinci's crew to remain here to assist you in any of your ongoing efforts? Or is that not necessary?
I do have several irons in the fire, certainly, and predictably. Sub-Lieutenant Talora might be just the right person to have to hand.
I'll let her know, and tell her to keep her nose clean just for you.
No,
No murder.
how sweet.
Um,
Maybe a little murder.
I mean, if you're allowing it.
Well, just gonna shoot a not quite a glare, but you know.
Suggestion? Perhaps if Rylov and I could start getting the Da Vinci ready, you might want to brief the Admiral. Captain.
Of course.
Well,
Centurion, you conduct your discussion. Commander Haifa, Lieutenant Ven return to Da Vinci. We're hunting ghosts.
yes, Captain. I mean, I'm returned to Da Vinci anyway. I prefer to communicate from there. It's less likely that it's being bugged heavily.
Well, I am not afraid of no specters.
That is
Oh,
objectively
fun.
a lie.
Fun. Fun. Okay.
Careful, don't drink too much Colt 45, Billy D.
I think, like, as everyone's standing up to, like, go their separate ways, Throlic's, like, antennae just kind of curl in very abruptly, and she swears something in Andorian that doesn't translate.
Something to do with someone's family member eating ice. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense out of context.
Yeah.
You just called someone an ice cruncher, which really that just sounds like a compliment. Like it sounds like I would think it's a compliment.
Kovic says, Captain, really? Such language.
Station operations to Lieutenant Captain of Stars.
I'm here. What's up? And this is at this point, if the meeting's over, she is walking away to coordinate with other officers of the SEAL Fleet.
We have a requisition from the Planetary Harmonizer of Upentar to help with a investigation. Someone's attacked the asylum seeker that you sent down there.
Oh, for the love of... Okay, can get the harmonizer on the line.
I'm right here.
And with that bit of revelation and mystery abound, there is 3 mysteries now burning on the table and a lot of things to chase down. But that's another day in Halanak Station. For now, for everyone watching, thank you very much for watching. For those of you playing, thank you very much for playing. And we hope to see you all again next time.
That's too many cases.
Yeah.
See, this is why Penn needs to go ahead and become an NPC, and then Bob can make up another character to be my partner, and we can work on all these fucking investigations.